Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. Today is February the 1st, and we're going to be planting some impatiens today. Now I'm going to be doing these two different ways. I'm going to be sowing some in Jiffy peat pellets, and I'm also going to be sowing some in our Jiffy organic seed starting mix. So this is one of the varieties that we're going to be sowing today. It's an impatiens flavorous hybrid strawberry, and it has beautiful, beautiful red flowers. And we're also going to be doing the impatiens Athena red flash, and that's actually a double impatiens, and it's picture like a miniature rose for the flower. It's beautiful in hanging baskets. It's beautiful in mixed containers if you want to mix it like with begonias or some other type of shade-loving plant. They're just absolutely beautiful. Now, impatiens can take 10 to 20 days to germinate, so that's like a month almost. And impatiens, their seeds do not last very long. So what I actually do with mine is I store my seeds in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag to, for one thing, chill the seeds for better germination, and the second reason is to make the seeds last longer, because I think impatien seeds are only good for like a year, and then they tell you that the germination rate greatly decreases. So I have my Jiffy peat pellets here, and sorry about that, let me move the camera here. Impatiens are known for getting that mildew, that downy mildew that got imported in. So what I'm actually going to do is, fungus hates cinnamon, so I'm going to put some cinnamon in with these before I put my water in. I'm just kind of sprinkling some in. And now I'm going to put my hot water in. Now my water, you don't want your water that hot that it burns your hands, because that would be bad. So I have this in here. We're going to let these soak up. I'm going to come back and I'll show you how I do my seed starting mix for these. And then when these are all done soaking, I'll show you how I plant my seeds in there. Okay, so we're back, and I have my container here filled with the Jiffy organic seed starting mix. And again, I'm just going to sprinkle some cinnamon in with this, and I'm going to mix it up here. And this seems to really work for me. There are chemical sprays that you can get, but I just use cinnamon. So there we go. Give a little bit more here. And whatever of this I don't use for the impatiens, I will use it when I plant my coleus, because coleus can get a downy mildew as well. And I use the cinnamon mixture on all of my coleus too. So I have my water here, and I'm going to start pouring it in. Mixing it up here. Now when I mix my seed starting mix, I don't want it to be soupy. I want it a nice texture and consistency. Gotta add just a little bit more soil here. I got a little too much water there. And if I accidentally get it a little dry, I'll just take a container with the same warm water after I pack my cell packs. And I'll set the cell pack with the soil in it and let it soak the water up like that. Okay, so this is a nice consistency here. And I'm going to add just a little bit more cinnamon. Go. It's best to mix the cinnamon in when it's dry. I don't have an actual measurement of how much cinnamon I put in. I just kind of judge it. You don't want to get too much in. Okay. So I have my 6-pack here, which we're going to be planting the red ones are going to go in the 6-pack. Here. And I have a 4-pack then that the Athenias are going to go in. And I've grown the Athenias before, and I've grown the red ones, red flavors mix before. They're both pretty. So, should make pretty baskets for us this year. Now, impatiens seeds need light to germinate, so we're not going to cover our seeds. Just gonna let them on top. And impatiens need 70 to 75 degrees to germinate. So I got this seed pack here filled. And I'm going to fill the other one. We'll come back then and we'll plant our seeds. Okay, so we're back and we're going to be planting the 6-pack first. And we're going to be putting the flavorous hybrid strawberry ones in there. Now that mix, those flowers can get up to 2 inches across. And they just really make a beautiful statement. They're really pretty. So I'm actually going to be sowing 2 seeds, per cell. Okay, so we're going to be sowing the flavorous hybrid strawberry impatiens first. And this is what impatiens seeds look like. They are smaller. They're like an orangish color. And I'm going to be putting 2 to 3 seeds per cell. And I will be picking out the extra seedlings that come up. I did a video on that. And I'll put it in the link down in the description for it. So I'm just going to press these into the soil surface. And I'm just using a plastic knife to do that. Because they need light to germinate. So we don't want to cover them. You just want to press them in. Just firming this one over some so that the seeds don't fall into any cracks or crevices from uneven soil surface, because we want our seedlings to come up. Go. And also make sure that the seed did not stick to whatever you're using to press the seeds in with. because you want to make sure that that seed gets really good contact with the soil, because that'll help it to germinate. And I'm keeping the extra seeds far enough apart so that I can separate them then. There we go. Pressing them in. And I can actually still see the seeds. And this is an older pack of seeds, so that's why I'm sowing more of them. And at first I didn't have it in the refrigerator, so there we go. Now I have these all sewed and I have them labeled. I use plastic tags and I write on them with pencil, because then I can just erase them and reuse them later on. So what I am going to do, now this particular mix here says it can take 18 to 28 days. So I'm definitely going to start these early. I'm going to take my spray bottle and spray over the top of them. And then I will put that under our lights. So I'll be right back and we'll plant the other one up. Okay, so I planted our Athenia, Red Flash, Impatiens in our 4-cell, and our Jiffy peat pellets, they all soaked and expanded up. So I already fluffed the soil on these and I pulled the netting back, and I wanted to show one for an example, but unfortunately I just did all of them, sorry. Jiffy peat pellets, or any peat pellets, can have a hole in the center of them. So basically what you want to do is you want to pull the netting back and you want to take your soil and like firm it over so you completely cover up the hole. It's a nice flat, smooth, even surface to plant our seeds on. And because our impatient seeds need light to germinate, that's what we're gonna do with these. We don't want them to fall down into a hole or anything like that. And this works on any type of impatiens. You can use this method for planting your seeds. So I got my seeds here, and just going to put it there. Now I can see where the seed's falling at, so I will firm them into the soil later. And I did these before in peat pellets and they worked very well. The advantage of the peat pellets is that there should be little to no transplant shock when you transplant them. And I plan on actually putting these in a hanging basket, and I'm hoping to have it blooming like by Mother's Day. So that's another reason why I start my stuff so early, because I want it to be blooming early. So we're going to push these seeds in. And they need light to germinate, so again, we're not going to cover them. Just move this one here a little bit here. concave there in the soil. And then I'll be taking the spray bottle and spraying it over the seeds to make sure they get nice and wet. And I'm firming these into the soil, the seeds, because you want to make sure your seed gets good contact with the soil. So these are all done up and they're planted. So this is our impatiens seed right there, and I have it pressed into the soil. I just wanted to show you that. So I have my water bottle here, and I'm just going to gently spray over the tops of them. And I'm going to close the lid on the cupcake tray, and then we're going to take them over to our lights. And these need 70 to 75 degrees, so they are going to go in one of our grow boxes. And I would definitely check on them before the 10 to 20 days. Depending on how fresh your seeds are, they should start coming up sooner than that. So we'll see. Okay, so we're back, and I put our impatiens seeds in the grow box. Here's one of them, and here's our other one. Now, these lights that I'm using, they're fluorescent lights. They're on for 14 hours a day, and I use the daylight bulbs. I also use the sunshine bulbs. I didn't like the plant lights. I was never pleased with those, so I went to the daylight bulbs. And you could use a bottom heat on these, like if you wanted to do a germination mat or something. I have used bottom heat before on them from the radiant heat in the floor, but I'm not doing that this time. I've just been letting the lights here heat up these boxes, these grow boxes, and we seem to be doing very well with it. So we'll see. When they start germinating, we'll come back and I'll show you another video of what they look like. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them below and I'll try and answer them for you. Please don't forget to hit that little notification button. That'll tell you when I put a new video on. Thank you for watching and hope you have a nice day. Bye.